My name is Arianna Khoshkhou from the senior class, and my topic for this year was women's rights in Iran. First off, I'd like to thank three amazing women who took their time and allowed me to interview them: Ms. Yasmin Pahlavi, Ms. Mahnaz Afghami, and Ms. Fariba Davoudi. This year, I researched how women in Iran do not have full access to social, political, and economic life in Iran due to gender inequality. I have addressed this issue in the Bullis community by presenting to the freshman class and participating in the 2020 annual Bullis Global Village by representing Iran at a cultural table. The Ayatollah Khomeini was Iran's political and religious leader for life. He passed down his ideals and rules to his close ally, Khamenei, who became the new supreme leader after he died. He came to power by overthrowing the king, better known as the Shah, during the Iranian Revolution. The Ayatollah described the notion of gender equality as unacceptable to the Islamic Republic. Due to the fact he oversees Iran's military, judicial court, and media, women face discrimination in important everyday decisions, like not being able to apply for or hold a passport, not being able to travel without a man's permission, not being able to choose where to live, not being able to pursue a job or profession in the same way a man can, and not being able to choose if they want to get an abortion. Furthermore, women cannot be assured for equal pay for equal work, and there is no laws restraining gender discrimination in hiring. The contemporary issues that are continued to this day are embedded in its unfair treatment of women in Iran society, economics, and politics, which affect women's everyday lives. In politics, women are forced to accept that they are inferior to men, and their testimony is equal to only half of a man. They have limited voting rights, and almost all of the government leaders should be male. The small number of women who are the exception must hold the same patriarchal beliefs as the Ayatollah. Even though a law was passed which gave women limited voting rights in 1963, which allowed the right to vote in local elections, the politicians running are selected by the Ayatollah, so they encompass the same beliefs that he does. The leader of the country believes that such power for women is comparable to prostitution. Due to the country's norms and rules in Iran favoring men in politics, only 6% of parliament are women. This means that women's voices are not being heard and have little access to create change. In Iran society, family laws such as women not being able to participate in sports, having to dress modestly, and not having the freedom of movement, the country enforces these laws based on the government's interpretation of the Quran. Through Islamic teachings, the supremacy of a man is the will of Allah and has been predestined for women to live as submissive, obedient wives. Recently, due to women not being allowed to enter sports games, there was a mini uprising led by the Blue Girl incident. Zahar Khajari, better known as a Blue Girl, was an Iranian woman who, while waiting trial to enter a soccer match, set herself on fire and died. She's known as a Blue Girl on social media after the colors of her favorite soccer club team, Istiklal FC, based in Tehran. This set off an outpour of grief and criticism of Iran's restrictive policies towards women. Iran's economy has an unfair system for jobs and education, having a bias towards hiring men. Women also cannot control their own money. The woman's father or husband will control their wealth and inheritance. The lack of opportunity for a job, though women have the same education, increased through the years 1997 to 2005. The president even took a far step by putting a cap on women's entrance to universities to guarantee a decrease in women's participation in the public sphere. The parliament put a cap on women's education in Iran by excluding women from 77 fields of studies at 36 universities in 2012. This caused a total of 40% of educated women in Iran to be unemployed. Due to the lack of education, women have a harder time being hired, getting jobs for all jobs in general. The current women labor force in Iran is at a very low 13 to 14.5%. The unequal economic opportunity means that women have less freedom than men. Without jobs providing a steady income, women then rely on men to provide income for needed food and shelter. This translates to a lack of power and authority. So now I'm turning it back to you, the audience. I'll leave you with this essential question. Should the U.S. help the women in Iran? Is it the responsibility of another country, such as the US, to help increase equality and opportunity in Iran? I do not see equal gender rights in Iran under the current government. Though I do not feel like it's the US's job to help Iran, it would be very beneficial to the women's rights movement in Iran if the US executes sanctions and/or broader education. Hopefully one day, everywhere in the world, women and men will have equal rights.